I'm Craig Sigel, the Mental Toughness Trainer, here to teach you how to master the mental game of baseball. Do you question or doubt yourself and your abilities? Do you often hear a little voice in your head saying things like, what if I strike out? What if this guy knows my weakness? Or, I'm not sure my ankle is ready to play. What if I can't get out of this slump? Will I get pulled if I don't get this next guy out? See, the big problem with baseball players and their mental game is that they don't answer these questions and they don't dispute that little voice inside their head. They just sit back and allow it to rule them, and then it hurts their game. The next time you think something like, I'm not sure I can come through here, or shut it down with an answer. Come up with some truth that blows that thing out of the water. Or maybe like this for a hitter. What if I choke here with men on base? Will I go back to sitting the bench? Answer that voice with something like, I own this guy, he's mine, and I can and I will rip this ball into the gap. And then in your mind's eye, you're imagining the ball already rolling to the wall for a double as you step up to the plate. That's confidence. Or maybe this if you're a pitcher. I hate facing this batter. He always hits me hard. Answer it loudly inside your brain with, what? Are you crazy? I'm doing the thing I love the most, pitching in a baseball game, and I love the challenge of facing tough hitters. You can blow up that voice. You can make it sound like a kid's cartoon character. You can shout it down. You can literally imagine pulling it out of your body, throwing it away. You know, we've all got negative thoughts that pop into our heads. And they're like uninvited guests to a party. If they show up, kick them out. All players must constantly be aware of that little voice of doubt. And when it shows up, deal with it. And you will master the mental game of baseball. Go to sportsmentaltoughness.com to get your free video training and guided visualization MP3 on how to perform under pressure. I'm Craig Sigel, the Mental Toughness Trainer.
Okay, in this session, I'm going to teach you how to juggle in sequence starting from your feet, then juggling to your thigh, then moving on to your head, back down from your head to your thigh to your feet. And if you did the beginning session, you'll remember that we did each part on its own. We started out with how to juggle with your feet, then we moved to how to juggle with your thigh, then how to juggle with your head. So now we're going to put that all in sequence. All right? So we're going to start with the ball on the ground. We're going to start juggling. Keeping the ball close to our body as we juggle. Then we're going to pop it up a little bit higher to our thighs. Okay? From our thigh, we're going to pop it up to our head. So give it a good lift. And juggle on our head. Then we're going to move to thigh. Back down to feet. Now this is all about control, okay? You want to be controlled with the ball. If the ball bounces on the ground, just continue to juggle. No worries, just keep it going. All right, and just practice going in sequence. All right, so we're going to start out our feet, thigh, our head, back down to our thigh, back down to our feet. The importance of this is to feel at one with the ball, keeping control. This is very important in the game of soccer, just feeling comfortable with the ball, keeping under control. So that's juggling in sequence from your feet to your thigh to your head.
VogelSoccerMastery.com, your online source for soccer information and training.
Hi, Craig Sigel, the mental toughness trainer. I'd like to tell you a story about John, a 13-year-old basketball player. Now, John had been playing basketball since he was 8 years old, and he absolutely loved the sport, just like you. And his coaches commented on how hard he always worked to improve his game, and how he was an inspiration to his teammates. However, John hadn't been getting as much playing time lately as he used to. He still worked as hard as ever to fine-tune his shot and advance his ball handling skills, but not getting played had affected his mood on and off the court. His mom had noticed that he was more grumpy and less patient with his little sister. John asked his coaches what he needed to do to get more playing time, and they told him he looked timid out there on the court and that he needed to get more aggressive. Now, this made John feel frustrated and stuck. He asked his dad how he suggested that he get more aggressive, and his dad recommended what worked for him: to carry himself with a certain confident swagger, which made him more confident on the court and therefore more aggressive. Now, this advice actually confused John even more, because he didn't remember acting like that when he was the star of the team a year ago. It just seemed like back then everything came naturally to him. And what John isn't realizing is that his problems began when he started to adopt a perfectionist mindset. And somewhere between being the starter and leading the team and scoring and today's troubles, John taught himself that he had to be perfect. And this mindset eventually started affecting his game. As a mental trainer, I hear the word perfectionist used by some people as a sort of badge of honor that they feel proud of. Unfortunately, though, as you can see with John, trying to be perfect causes all sorts of problems. The problems show up when the perfectionists fail to achieve perfection, and then they beat themselves up for it. They start by overanalyzing the game, picking apart their mistakes, and thinking a bunch of negative thoughts about themselves. And this leads to playing scared, because they're in fear that they'll make a mistake. It's a self-defeating, never-ending cycle. Think about it. Can you ever achieve perfection in anything? Are there any perfect players out there? In fact, in most sports, players make many mistakes and still win. In baseball, getting 3 out of 10 hits is a huge success. In basketball, most pros only make about 50% of the shots they take. Are you getting the picture? In every sport, we expect to make more mistakes than we do things right. Failures are acceptable, and you can still win. If you're a perfectionist, you're expecting something that is impossible and setting yourself up for repeated failure. It's a formula for mental weakness. Thinking you need to be perfect puts you in a state of constant fear of not getting it right. It's much better to set goals for yourself that are achievable, but a bit of a stretch. And there's a subtle but powerful difference between these two thoughts. See if you can see the difference in these two sentences. I'm a perfectionist and I must do everything perfectly. Or, I strive for perfection, but I don't have to be perfect. You see, sentence 2 gets you where you want to go by allowing you to be human while still striving for continuous improvement. Sentence 1, well, that was John until he came to see me. I'm Craig Sigel, your mental toughness trainer.